What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tapped Out Podcast Network. I'm Nick McDaniel. He's Myron Fancher. How the heck are you, man?
I just want to take this time to announce I will not be playing in a bowl game this year. I've opted out.
A lot of opting out. Yes. That's a whole podcast in itself. And boy, would I ever love to sit down and do that one. So, one, let's get it clear. This is not the Tapped In podcast. Sort of. This is actually the Georgia Wrestling Spotlight. One last time, Myron, in the spirit of John Cena. You know, he's got the one last time tournament. You know, we thought, you know what? Look, with all the reformatting coming out next year and how we shuffle some things around, everybody will see it over here. The next few as we pan out. January 8th is the big when everything will kind of flip and change, and as the closer we get to that, I'll lock it in and kind of let everybody know. But we thought, if everybody's getting nostalgic for John Cena this week, man, you know, a lot of people asked about the Georgia Wrestling Spotlight and kind of, you know, how it kind of came in and went out, you know, in the last year. So I thought, one last time, Myron, one last ride. Let's do it. We go old school and do it, you know.
Now.
Yeah. Look, at a lot of the stuff that's here, Indy Rewind, all that kind of stuff, a lot of it's still going to live on in the episodes, but it'll be in different incarnations. But more importantly, over on Patreon, patreon.com/tappedoutpod, we will still try to do, I'm still going to do the Indy Rewind and the Making the Drives post. It'll be the PDF. It's going to be free. It's not going to be something you have to pay for. So if you're a free member, you sign up there. It'll have all the shows, you know, the recap stuff. It'll have the, you know, all of the Making the Drive, so where all the shows are going to be in the upcoming week. So it's really important, but it doesn't lock us into a time frame of like, hey, I got to have it by X amount of time so then I can put it in the notes and then we can do the show and then get to show people early. It just kind of will expedite some of that process for everybody, but it'll be free again on patreon.com, and I'll make sure that I share it on social media so people can click on it and go there. They can sign up for a free one and it'll all be there because, you know, I can't do the PDF on social media. So
nope.
It is, and they limit your characters, and when I'm sitting here looking at a notes page that's 14 pages long, that doesn't meet the criteria for the character.
And I'm a large character too, so we can't fit all that in there.
Yeah, so we're gonna, you know, go old school one more time, but before we do, literally, I mean, maybe an hour or two, maybe 3 before we hit record, Action Wrestling dropped some big news that they're going to have a working relationship being set up. Basically, it's announced this afternoon that they're entering into a working relationship with West Coast Pro Wrestling. But it's kind of turned out now. It's West Coast Pro Wrestling, New Texas Pro, WXW in Germany, who they've done some stuff with in the past. They've actually had their title defended over there. Some of the guys have gone over there and stuff like that. And St. Louis Anarchy as well. So all of these kind of like, basically, you know, from everything we're hearing, is they're going to kind of strengthen their positions as independent wrestling companies. They're going to collaborate with each other, share talent. I wouldn't be shocked to see this title, you know, like the Action title, the Action World title defended in New Texas Pro, West, you know, WXW. It has been before. Yeah, and they've done it before. That's, you know, that's kind of why.
Guys.
Hey, it's a reason why, you know, Matt Griffin has all the credibility in the world to call it the Action World title, because that belt has been defended on other continents. I mean, it is what it is, right?
That's pretty impressive. Once again, that is very impressive. Matt Griffin is the deal maker, one of the most important figures in Georgia independent wrestling. If I were to say the guy who's made the most impact over the course of this year in Georgia wrestling, from getting dollar bills stapled to his head to making a big deal like this, I don't think anybody's done more.
He makes an impact everywhere he goes.
Yes.
All the deals that he makes, you know, there's making an impact here, making an impact there. He's involved at Southern Fried. He's involved at Southern Honor. He was involved in the Blood and Honey series. Like, you know, he's done some ring, like he's like a lot of stuff. Listen, he calls himself the Kingpin, and with some of the stuff that he's achieved this past year, moves like this and other things, is he wrong?
No, you cannot dispute his position in the wrestling scene in Georgia and now the world.
So I'm really excited to see where this all plays out for them. kudos. There's a reason. Look, I rocked the hat for a reason. I was like, hey, tip their cap to them, literally tip their cap to them at Action Wrestling and Matt Griffin for pulling this off. And it's not the only thing we're going to talk about. A lot of big news coming out of out of Action this past weekend. But you know what? I'm going to break it up, man. I'm going to break format because I just want to talk about the big topic. We're not going to get into all of the matches and everything, but what a weekend for them. They kind of hit the home run, right?
Yeah.
On top of that, they crown a new Action World Champion. Darian Bingston picks up a massive win over Tim Bosby, who was on a hell of a run, and I kind of made the case I wasn't really sure who was going to beat him.
No, he looked like he was in a very solid position to hold that title for an extreme amount of time. But Bingston's got it, man. Bingston is got the flash right now.
Look, he had Dylan Hales in his corner. Tim Bosby did. So kind of like a lot of shenanigans constantly. Here's the thing. I always thought of you get a guy who's a gifted athlete like Tim Bosby, who he was young, but had all the tools in the making to be a guy.
Yeah.
But with the when the experience he did lack, putting somebody like Dylan Hales with him, that's what made them so formidable. And it took a lot of absolute chaos, but all the referees getting taken out, but Matt Griffin getting involved himself, on and on and on. Darian Bingston, who is a young man who literally at one point, like a year ago, Bingston kind of delivered the speech saying that he was going to be gone away for a little while. And now we are basically, a year later, Daniel Maccabe's, one of his proteges, if you will, rocking the Maccabi jersey that he had on. He survived all the chaos that happened and ensued and picks up the win. And Darian Bingston, dude, Action World Heavyweight Champion. Pretty nifty, pretty cool.
The thing I look at the card though, and what really impresses me the most is you want to give somebody some credibility as an independent wrestler. This TJ Crawford kid submitted Slim J. I don't think you can put.
No, you got that flip, Brian. Your dyslexia kicked in. Slim J submitted him, by the way.
Oh, damn it! Autism, sorry, epilepsy awareness. I have that.
There you go.
I can't read sometimes.
And we're gonna get all the matches or whatever. I just wanted to jump into the big news of of Darian Bingston's your new champion,
yes,
or whatever. And now, without further ado, so big weekend for Action. Big announcement. They're going to be partnering with West Coast Pro Wrestling, New Texas Pro, WXW, and St. Louis Anarchy. And they've got a new champion. Really solid base across the board. Jay Lucas and Teriyaki, they're the tag champions, etc. A lot of stuff going on. So let's just go ahead. Myron's in a hurry, so let's jump into get into the time machine and do the Indy Rewind where we go back and look at, all of the action that we've got reported in over the weekend. And what a weekend it was. Let's just start with our block. We always start with one fall kind of in one block of wrestling. They had a big show Friday night in Watkinsville. Loved their shows at South Main Brewing. Really cool show. I wanted to ask you this. As I sat here, those people know, I wasn't there for the reasons where I don't get into those kind of things or whatever. But I saw this video and thought, wait, what? No comments, Myron. I just want to ask you, how did we miss Warden defeating Krogan?
That just sounded excellent. And if I had been able to go, I would have been there for this. Such a lovely crowd, except for that one kid, just that one kid there at South Main. This would have been something to see. He ran him out of the building?
I'm just curious. You know me, I'm just kind of like, wait, what? How? We'll talk off air. I'm trying to figure out how this even happened. But I will tell you one that I wanted to ask you. Kieran Gray, listen, I get it. He pinned Shoot Taylor in a triple threat, but this is the danger of triple threats.
Mm-hmm.
The record books don't care how it happened. Kieran Gray has a win over Elijah Drago and Shoot Taylor in a triple threat because he pinned Shoot Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge feather in Kieran Gray's cap.
Exactly. It'd elevate him in the promotion, definitely.
Yeah. Hayna Hera picked up a big win. By the way, and if you're listening to this, because this is actually going to drop out of order, like compared to what you're used to, this will be ahead of the Tapped In show, the actual Tapped In show this week. Hayna Hera and Angelica Risk coming on. I don't know how I'm going to control the two of them on the same show, but we'll do our
Worse
best.
than handling me. Jesus.
Yeah. The Superstars picked up a huge win over JD Inc., Kristen Taylor, and Michael Solar. The one that kind of caught my eye, and the reason I was trying to get out here on Friday, Pretty Parker Lee of Mantasy was going to take on Brady Booker. Of course, Sebastian Blaze was not going to allow it to happen one-on-one.
No.
Tried to interfere. Tyler Shoup made a big save, and of course, we turned that into a tag match. And now we have Tyler Shoup and Brady Booker go on and defeat Mantasy, this new young team.
Mm-hmm.
I know Mantasy wants to make a statement. Brady Booker, Tyler Shoup probably are not your guys to try to make that statement so early on.
They went big.
They
probably
did.
Skimped on the baby oil. Next time,
I doubt it.
Get greasier.
Yeah. I guess it's one of those, like, when you thought you were going to take advantage of Brady Booker, you kind of forget to realize he's got some buddies in that back. He's a Brody for a reason, right? He's got a lot of friends. But one Tyler Shoup wasn't going to stand by and let that happen. Speaking of the numbers game, the Superstars are back at full strength. We've talked about that for the last couple of weeks. Yes. Seems to kind of be a developing thing. My question would be, can anybody, if they're at full strength, are they always going to have the numbers game?
Well, they're always going to work together. That's the main thing. As long as they're working together, they're on the same page. It's a 3-man tag, Freebird style, guys.
Yeah,
it puts them in a great position. It really puts them in a great position. So.
I agree. Again, always a fun show. Like that was their Friday show. They're going to be back here coming up pretty soon at one of their Monday shows. Check them out, South Main Brewery. It's a fun show. It's a fun way. Follow them on social media, especially get your tickets, 1fwlive.com. Get them ahead of time, and then you can just roll right in there, grab some beers, throw them back. I don't know about on the Monday nights, but on the Friday nights, 100% sure. Well, you know what? Monday nights, it's as good a night to drink as any.
Oh, yeah. After Mondays.
Yeah. Yep. And check them out. Again, they are, believe it or not, remember, they are on Peachtree Sports Network every single week on Tuesday nights, and Wednesday nights they are available on Triller TV. But the first show that you can catch them out, the next show is actually the 12th. That is up in Gainesville. We'll discuss that a little bit when we get into the Making the Drive segment. Sunday, big crowd turned out. They did multiple weeks of show tapings. I try to respect this part and go like, I just don't tell you what the TV tapings happened.
Shush. Kayfabe.
Yeah. I just look, man, if you want to watch what happened at the TV tapings, watch the TV shows.
Yep.
It's that simple. Or get a ticket, come down to the McDonough, it's on a Sunday, spend a couple hours and watch them tape it. And you're like, hey, now I know.
That's a great place to watch wrestling.
I agree. Also, let's jump to Friday, by the way. We talked a little bit about the action show, talked about the big title change that, at the top of the card. Could arguably, if you're on social media, go find Cody Fluffman. Check out his social media pages. Specifically, I just came across it on his Facebook page. Cruel and Channing Thomas were having a match. Ends in a DQ because that little weasel, Grayson Pierce, sticks his little nose into it. Of course, that turned into Channing Thomas and Grayson Pierce wrestling Cruel and Cody Fluffman, which absolutely one of the most hilarious moments to see the steamroller done by one monster Cruel. I'm not going to lie. It got me good.
Now, Cody Fluffman is my wife's Georgia wrestling hero. She doesn't like wrestling. She hates going to wrestling. But when we saw Cody Fluffman that one night in Beaufort, she's like, I want one of his T-shirts. I like this kid. He's awesome because he's an entertainer. He's phenomenal. I'm so glad to see him back wrestling. I know he does to take off for his job some, but and the Cruel dynamic. You wouldn't even think of this. This is one of those things you'd never imagine happening.
I asked somebody a question the other day, and I we're going to tangent. I didn't want to tangent, but I'm always going to when his name comes up. So somebody the other day asked me about, by the way, fully aware he probably doesn't care. I get it. But when we joke about best wrestler in Georgia, best Georgia, all that, pick a list, name a list, maybe. Mm-hmm. somebody said, this guy. What's Cruel's eligibility rules? Like, I would argue he's Wrestler of the Year. He's the MLW World Champion, but he wrestles on a lot of shows here and there, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot. So does he wrestle on enough shows to qualify? Yes or no? CapTap@gmail.com, by the way.
He wrestled a lot more than some people have won it in the past. He's on more shows in Georgia. Yes. Well, if Fluffman should be Entertainer of the Year, it'd be between him and Matt Sells for entertainment. But Cruel, do you take that? I'm still tangenting. Do people with contracts qualify to be Wrestler of the Year in Georgia? Are they Georgia wrestlers or are they national wrestlers?
So here's your problem. We have the running joke. If Carly Bravo counts, he's the best wrestler in Georgia, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, here's why I claim he knows. The reason is well, here's the we're going to debate this a little bit. Because if Carly Bravo counts, and stand by my statements. I see he knows. He's my guy. Whatever, he gets it. But my question is, if Carly Bravo counts, then Cruel counts.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said, "Well, how do you figure that?" And I'm like, "You said he doesn't count because if they're assigned talent, Carly Bravo's assigned talent. Well, but he's an MLW World Champion. Carly Bravo is a Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Champion.
Yes.
If Carly Bravo counts, Cruel counts.
Mm-hmm.
Now the shit's deep real.
Yes.
About who's the best wrestler in Georgia.
Mm-hmm. You take Lev off that because Lev's been tearing it up in the NWA. Really looking good right now. He's got his body all transformed. Can't put him in anymore. He goes from most improved.
If they count, not if they don't count. If they do count, and they make it, they are on the list.
Renard shouldn't be on the list. As much as I love him, and I think he's one of the best. Probably he's my favorite wrestler in Georgia. But he's a nationally signed talent.
Let me ask you this. If those two count, let's come back to that point. If those two count, can somebody book that match for me?
Oh.
I want to see Carly Bravo versus Cruel.
Oh. I would enjoy that. I would definitely enjoy that.
I don't care what promoters listening. I don't care what booker. I don't know whoever, whatever. Matchmaker, call them what you want. I want Cruel versus Carly Bravo. I'm not saying I get it. It's happened, but I want it one-on-one. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You brought up you brought up Matt Sells earlier. Joe Black picked up a big win over Matt Sells. This new personality, this rough side that Matt Sells is showing. Again, go check out his social media. A lot of guys effectively using social media.
Yes.
Good job. They're standing out like, a ton.
Well, you don't have a national company behind you. These pro wrestlers have press people that handle this. These guys at the WWE that get set up with publicists. And independent wrestlers don't have publicists. You have to do this for yourself and benefit yourself. Study the people that are working and succeeding and do what they're doing.
Nope. Landon Hale, he came through, picked up a win over Brett Ryan Gosling. I always have to slow down when I say that one. Ryan Clancy, the IWTV World Heavyweight Champion, he came through as well. Again, it's kind of one of the things. So think about on a card, you've got the Action Wrestling World Champion and the IWTV World Heavyweight Champion, Ryan Clancy, on the card. He picked up a win over Adrian Alanis. A young man that I've noticed at a few shows. I noticed him at Action. He's been at Southern Honor a few times. A couple other shows where I've come across him. Keep an eye on this young man. I think he's got a little something going on right now. Again, follow them on social media. Their next show, believe it or not, is January the 4th there at Action. We got to find out, hey, now that Darian Bingston's the champion, it always leads to the question, who's the first man up? Who's the first man to challenge for this title, right?
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. By the way, I recommend this match highly. If you have not seen it, it's already available on IWTV. I promise you won't be disappointed. Go check it out. if there's one of these, just specifically, like, that's the match on that card. The card was good. I really recommend that one. Also on Friday, SCA, they run up at the Royston Dome. Some big stuff coming out of there. De Silva defeated Alexander Lev, that you just mentioned. Yes. Tied the series up now. It's 2-2. Got some clarification.
Yes.
That's on me. Wanted to clarify the rules. It's the first one to 5 win/points, whatever you want to call it. So, it's not the best of 5 as far as the series. It's the first one to 5 wins.
My wife always says I talk the most when I don't know what I'm talking about, and I got this wrong also. First person to 5 wins. God, we could be here all year.
And then some.
We're going to be here. It's going to run into next year.
Exactly.
I can't wait for the drama.
Absolutely. Hunter James, he retained the Georgia Heritage Championship as he picked up a win over Zach Keene. Shocking your best buddy Richard Page's team, Greatness Inc., Caleb Crocker and Mr. Carter. They defeated Tower and Alexander Seabolt. I know he's one of your buddies, but
yep.
Richard Page, they got the better of him that night.
I have been served with a restraining order that I can no longer say bad things about Mr. Page on air. My lawyer is trying to resolve that, but until now, no comment.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, right,
yeah.
Myron?
Mm-hmm.
And both of us went.
Mm-hmm. We always went quiet because there's not.
We both go quiet. No, it's. They've got a big show coming up. They're kind of setting the table here, not just in the not too distant future. December 26th, Santa Slam. We're not going to go into. We were discussing this a little bit off air. Christmas weekend's turning into a really busy wrestling weekend, which obviously, wrestling and Christmas has always seemed to have been a thing. So we shall see. So again, they're there every Friday, but specifically, believe it or not, December 26th, they will be back there as well. SCA up at the Royston Dome. Find out, Stevie Ray Frost, who's going to challenge him for his first title defense. I don't know. We're going to find all that out. But again, they will be there this Friday as well. Saturday, big show in Monroe, Southern Fried Championship Wrestling, kind of setting the table because, shocking, folks, we're on a path to a December 27th show from Southern Fried Championship Wrestling.
And I got to watch this. This is a show probably I missed the most of the year because Drew Blood was there. Joseph Brock was there. Techi Makuji. JBE was there. Jagged. I got to watch it. One of the unsung heroes in wrestling, independent wrestling, are the cameramen who go out there and shoot this stuff for you. And then people like Adam Vance takes it and puts it on YouTube where you can watch shows you can't get to. If you can't get there, I always recommend independent wrestling. But if you can't get there, check out the YouTube channels of some of these guys. It was so cool to see Christian Taylor, one of the upcoming young talents in Georgia, working with the veterans in JBE. Hunter James, working with the veterans in JBE. This was a flashback for the past. I got to see guys that we started watching when we first started going to Southern Fried with the hottest young talent in the state of Georgia. It was so cool, folks. It was so cool. So many memories. I wish I got to see Drew Blood go into the Hall of Fame. I hate I missed that, but congratulations, sir. You deserve it.
That he does, man. That he does. Talking about the rest of the card, Alexander Lev, Nick Halen. I was told match of the night. Check it again. Check it out on YouTube. Real solid match. CT Keys picked up a huge win over the Wall, but the key comes in after that, no pun intended. Nick Halen was on commentary, challenged one CT Keys for the December 27th show. Curious to see these two clash, for that Southern Fried Championship. Big upset of the night. Look, no disrespect to the Flying Fro Michael Walker. He picked up a win over Jacob Ashworth when I'm not sure who kind of was responsible, but the rumor I heard was Adam Vance's slipper fingers accidentally hit, of all people's music, Billy Bucks.
Or maybe it was David's slippery hand standing over there. How big a rivalry you get when two best friends become enemies. And this is what this is. And it's hot. It's going to be good. Ashworth is looking like $1,000,000. Jake, Jacob is one of the most popular wrestlers in Georgia before this heel turn. I don't see how this is going to play out well for him, being a bad guy. And Manders, the owner, going to be the referee of this match he's got next show.
Yeah, I want to add a little bit about that. It was kind of intriguing that JJ seemed a little bit upset and just quits after after he inserted himself. He's going to be the special referee for this match. Curious just to see the why and find out what bothered him so much.
I think Blake's been doing a great job as ring announcer. I don't even know why they need him anymore.
You got to find out for sure. Other big stuff of the night. Christian Taylor, he kind of attacks. He's involved, as far as Jaden Vane defeated Dominic Stuckey. There's an attack orchestrated by Hunter James. Shocking. But I had mentioned that, one of the reasons we wanted to go to the show was Dominic Stuckey wins Ultimate Battleground, gets to choose whoever he wants to cash in for whatever title he wants. And I'd asked, remember last week I'd said the opportunity to be the man at Southern Fried and win the Southern Fried Heavyweight Championship, or the hatred and the disdain he held for 100 James, and the opportunity to take away his baby there, that Southern Fried Classics title, that would probably hurt Hunter James more than anything. Which one would he choose? He has chosen, and it will be Dominic Stuckey, taking on Hunter James December 27th.
Dom's in a bad spot, Nick. Okay? Especially if Hunter James brings his new friend, Christian Taylor. Hunter James brings all of his friends in the crusade. Dom's going to be by himself. Dom needs some allies, man. Seriously. The numbers game.
And also all that and more December 27th. Jacob Ashworth, Billy Buck, one-on-one. David Manders as the special referee. CT Keys will take on Nick Halen, and Hunter James will take on Dominic Stuckey. If you did miss this show, shame on you, shame on us. It happens. It is available, like we said, on YouTube. Check it out. Their next show is December 27th, as we have said time and time again. Next up, on Saturday, Bullpen Pro Wrestling. Let's start with kind of it was earlier in the night, but let's talk about the match that everybody when we talked about this show last week, we thought this has got to be this has to be the main event. This is the biggest story going on at the time. Little did we know it played a part in what was the biggest thing to come out. However, might arguably not be the biggest news coming out of the show, and I'll explain why. Sunset Sam was going one-on-one with Shane Knowles. If Sunset Sam picks up the win, Bull Buchanan gets full control of his company again. However, in this match, Sunset Sam does pick up the win, but the Rebirth, who we were going to hear ad nauseum through these young men, I'm not sure what their problem is. The Rebirth attacked Shane Knowles literally to the point that Bull Buchanan makes the save.
So Sunset Sam had already gone home after his very trying match.
Sunset Sam rode off into the sunset.
Okay, good. I didn't want him to get hurt into this foolishness.
Yeah. So, Nick, well, how's that not the big? Because the big story comes in. By the way, we'll come back to this title that I want to mention because I think there's something there. Actually, between the big news, let me go ahead and talk about JT Paradox and Bryce Cannon. A series of matches have been announced as the best of 3 series. This was the first match. It's kind of crazy that Bryce Cannon had come out. By the way, everybody knows I like Bryce.
Yes.
Bryce co-hosts on the Tapped In show from time to time. But he kind of put a statement out there that he is not here to teach and help these kids. He's busy trying to pick up and win championships.
Mm-hmm.
Comes in to face this young man who is their television champion. Bryce Cannon, not one above fracturing a rule or two. Not saying break a rule. He likes to bend them, fracture them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
However, unbeknownst to us, and we thought we knew a lot of the bloodlines in Georgia, JT Paradox's uncle, 3MP, stopped Bryce from from some sneaky behavior.
He's a serial interferer. He has interfered. This 3MP guy, I don't trust him. He interferes everywhere he goes.
Yeah, but if he's JT Paradox's uncle and he's trying to help JT Paradox and he's going to manage Paradox, he's got to be a good dude, right? Like JT's a good
interferer. Kid. Yeah, JT's a great kid.
Yeah.
And one of the hottest young stars in Georgia wrestling. I would say most improved this year on the men's side.
It'd be great candidate. I could argue, or a rookie, depending, he could be the rookie of the year. So, so we get in all the way to the 8-man tag. It was the Rebirth that they did pick up a win over Aaron Dallas, BK Bennett, Dante Diamond, and Cody Wyndham. However, it was all because of Showtime Damon Thomas. He was the special referee. Him and Zach seemed to have a little friction over the last few weeks, stuff heading into the show. However, the moment that stunned the crowd, Thomas super kicks Aaron Dallas, fast counts, the 1, 2, 3. Rebirth picks up the win. Ryan Wendell then attacks all of the Dallas, BK Bennett, etc. He's got the slapjack out there. They're holding Dante Diamond. They're trying to get Rob Adonis to join them. He refused, and then so they attack him to the point that then, you ready for this? Bull Buchanan and Shane Knowles together make the save on one Rob Adonis, and they manage to shake hands, and it looks like we kind of got a trio there, at least starting.
Got a war. That sounds good.
So we head into the main event where Xavier Cross took on Judias for that Bull of the Woods championship that Judias had. However, the young giant that we've been talking about here on the show for a while, Xavier Cross, picks up a win and is the new Bull of the Woods champion. And it all has to do with, Zach Buchanan attempted to hit Judias with the belt. Xavier Cross stops him, only to then turn around and hit Judias himself with the belt. Clearly now joining Rebirth. Again, I told you this was going to become a trend throughout the show. And then they put a beat down on Judias until Rob Adonis, Shane Knowles, Bull Buchanan, and Cody Wyndham make the save. And it now officially looks kind of like, look, I'm not saying these names. This was names that the Rebirth had on a banner. They're kind of calling it the old guys versus the new guys. And Myron, isn't that kind of like a story as old as time?
Yeah, it's a great story as old as time. This sounds like a well-booked show. I mean, I would like to be able to see some of the footage from this. This sounds like a well-booked show. It all went together just like pieces of a puzzle. I like that.
And all of that leads to now, it looks like this new faction that we have, the Rebirth, Zach Buchanan, Trey Jordan, Ryan Wendell, Damon Thomas, Xavier Cross, and Kyle Gunner, who... whole other conversation. They're going to try to take over Bullpen. They're going to, they are going to try to run everything, but that's the new guard, as they're like kind of calling themselves. However, this new alliance of veterans appears that they have kind of joined and formed an alliance. Rob Adonis, Bull Buchanan, Shane Knowles, Cody Wyndham. Is that hopefully the piece of the puzzle that stands between, this Rebirth, and it kind of puts father and son on opposite sides again. Yeah. Another story that just kind of seems to just be as old as time itself.
I like it.
I do. So follow them, check them out. You're going to find them on Facebook, YouTube. A lot of their videos and stuff. Some of the videos were already out. They were out well before we recorded. Their next big show is January the 10th, where they're into the new year over there in Ranburne. But again, follow them on social media because I got a feeling more stuff's got coming down the road. Because it's think of the layers of this onion, Myron.
Mm-hmm.
It's old versus new, father versus son. It's like it's our time. It's your time is past.
Mm-hmm.
All of these stories, and like you said, really well done, and really excited about the future of One Bullpen Pro Wrestling.
I like it.
Passion of Wrestling. Sorry, they ran in Swainsboro this past week. Aaron Black picked up a big win. D Money and Lamar Diggs, they took the loss to Quick Drip. I saw these guys at Kraken.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Quick and Travis Ray. Follow them out if you. I'm not plugging one to plug the other. check them out. You can find on YouTube over at Kraken. You can catch some matches that are very entertaining. Yeah. Colt McCarthy defeated Don Yoder. Friend of the show, William Huckabee, picked up a win over Payne. He's, shock. I mean, right? William Huckabee, man, look, for a guy that we all thought, not we all thought, but a lot of people said, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people were like,
heart
man,
attack keep him down.
That's what I was going to say. Like, we thought this heart attack would slow him down, but man, it did not. He's out here just, to the grind and still putting beat downs on dudes all over the state, man. So kudos to William Huckabee, man. Swole and Dak Anthony, they defeated the Black Card Mafia, Jaron Elms and Ryan Phoenix by DQ. The Black Card Mafia, it's kind of that whole story's kind of getting bigger and wider. But to me, one of the questions that comes out, Payne coming back, Dax Anthony's back, company's growing down. Check out Passion of Wrestling, man. They're starting to bring in some names that a lot of people are going to recognize across the state. So check them out. They're on YouTube as well. Their next big show is January the 10th down there in Swainsboro. Well, Myron, that's all the stuff we got, reports and stuff on. So it always brings us to, after we cover, all of the Indy Rewind stuff, we ask ourselves, well, man, who won the week? And I think it comes down to two people, and I'm open for this conversation. By the way, I'm really open for a conversation, and I want to ask. Bull Buchanan got his company back, right?
Yes.
That's a pretty big. That's a pretty big. Who won the week?
Yes.
The other conversation I want to get into, Darian Bankston is the new Action World Heavyweight Champion. Massive candidate for who won the week.
You can't get around that. That's also a massive play.
So
there.
I want to walk me through this conversation real quick because I think I have my answer.
Okay.
Here's why. Look, Darian Bankston's my winner for who won the week. And everybody's going to say, well, Nick, Bull got his company back. But a lot of you might ask, kind of at what cost? He is now set in a feud with his son.
Oh.
I don't know that, even though he got his company back, I don't know that Bull Buchanan probably walked out of that building felt like he won the week. If I would have said,
to win it and then lose it all. Yeah. It's a big turnaround for him. He must have had been elated when Sunset Sam won, and then find out later his son's going to turn on him.
Correct.
Yeah, that was horrible.
So one obstacle, Shane Knowles kind of is removed by Sunset Sam out of his way, only to be a more, would you argue, an even more personal obstacle, threat, thorny, call it what you will.
Yes.
Now your son is standing across from you. That's, I think, a bigger issue. So Bull, I'd give it to you any other week. I just think that one comes back and to get a little bit to take away from the joy you probably felt watching Sunset Sam, to now having to deal with your son and a bunch of. Listen, how about this? We all know what we think of Zach Buchanan and all of that roster, right? The future that they have. But to be this is the guy who gave them a lot of the opportunities to get out there and show their talents or whatever.
Fostered
and for them,
so much talent over there. Fostered so much young talent. We keep seeing people come out of there that are making impressions all over the state of Georgia, and now they're turning their backs on him.
Exactly. So a lot of times, Bull, I understand. Sometimes you feel like you just got to put your kid over your knee and give them the spanking they deserve. Well, hopefully, maybe we'll see that in the near future. But unfortunately, due to that, and the massive win that Darian Bankston hit. Here's my thing. Here's why he also wins. Young kid, a lot of people underestimated him, probably didn't see this coming. But if you have not been paying attention or you have not been listening and see the hot streak the kid's been on for quite a while now, you're not as surprised. But that's a massive, for this young man to literally climb the mountain, become the Action World Champion. Darian Bankston's your winner. Darian Bankston, you won the week, man. Before we jump into the Making the Drives, Myron, we want to remind everybody who brings us the Making the Drive segment every single week here on the Last Time Georgia Wrestling Spotlight / normally on the Tapped In, Tapped Out show. Our friends at Video Bolt. This episode of the Tapped Out Podcast is brought to you by our new partners at Video Bolt. They're a video technology company that's been around redefining content creation since 2009. Whether you're a podcaster, promoter, small business, media outlet, Video Bolt makes it easy to create professional, high-quality videos fast without a crazy price tag to go with it. They've powered projects like, from big names like Duncan, Hearst, Comcast, but their platform is built for creators just like us, so you can look just as sharp as those guys. So if you want your videos to stand out, head over to videobolt.net/tappedoutpod and use our promo code tappedoutpod to get starting today. That's videobolt.net/tappedoutpod because your video should hit just as hard as your message. That's right, man. Like I tell everybody all the time, the videos that you see, the intros, all that kind of stuff, they make it super simple. Videobolt.net/tappedoutpod, or go there, use the promo code tappedoutpod, sign up today, and I think if you're doing a podcast, if you're doing any YouTube stuff,
yes,
tons of tools at your disposal, and they make it as easy as it could possibly be. All right, Myron, it's that time, man. Let's jump in the car, hit the accelerator, and start looking across the state of Georgia and making the drives for next week. Folks, I do believe back in the mix for next week. Hopefully everything's freed up. I'm not sure how many I can get to, but our plan is to get out to some of the shows. Let's do the one fall block. Let's start there because everybody's like, hey, the one fall. Yeah, because this week.
Slow week.
It's a slow week. They're only doing 3 shows. Come on, Scott. Get to work, buddy.
Lazy.
We're going to need some more shows. Sometime. Look, he had a couple weeks where he was taking off. He was only running 1 show. He ran a couple with the TV taping last week. I think he's getting back into the groove heading into Christmas. So congrats, Scott. Thanks for getting back to work, man. 3 opportunities to catch them. We talked about it. Gainesville. I love that venue. Really small, very unique.
Me too.
Super small. This is, cross our fingers, hopefully the show that we get out to on Friday. We'll get to see Brady Booker versus KJ Impala for the One Fall Championship. I want you to pause here. Everybody knows I love some Brady Booker. Big fans of the kid. However, you got to keep Brady. Look, I know you've got some buddies with Tyler Shoop. He helped you up in Watkinsville this past weekend. KJ Impala's got friends, man. Cartello Grillo. Watch out for the numbers game because we talked about it a little bit with the superstars. Cartello Grillo's, they've got numbers. They've got some numbers. So, and by the way, don't forget that KJ Impala, he's champions at a couple places. He's been champions across the state of Georgia.
We earned those championships. Yeah,
so it's going to be really cool to see 2 young athletes go one-on-one as KJ Impala changes for that one fall title. Var Morales will defend the one fall breakout championship against Kieran Gray. We talked about that big win that Kieran picked up, this past week. Hey, is this a reward? Is this a kind of, is this what we talk about big wins? What happens? Look, we can all be big fans of Kieran Gray. Whatever. Var Morales, as a friend of the show, sometimes say, Myron, what does he say? Whole nother level.
Whole nother level, yes.
When Var Morales kicks it in gear, Myron, I'll ask you, is there anybody when he hits that next gear?
No.
Who keeps up?
No, nobody can. I really do not believe there's anybody that can keep up with him when he's at that speed. Phenomenal talent. I don't think he gets enough eyes on him.
Yeah, Var Morales, he's the breakout champion for a reason. So check him out. Hopefully that's where we will be on Friday. Saturday, they will be at Stone Mountain. And then on Monday, by the way, they're going to be back in Watkinsville, December the 15th. I did not have cards with me. That's on me. Did not have cards because we recorded a little bit early today. But both shows, I promise you, you're probably going to see, QT Marshall, Brady Booker, Elijah Drago, Var Morales, on and on and on. Other people in the Cartello Grillo probably in the house or whatever. So hopefully we'll catch up with all those guys this weekend. 1FWLive.com. Check them out. Get the tickets. Get it specifically the Gainesville show. Get your tickets early because that venue actually has, and probably will sell out ahead of time. So
yes.
Let's jump into Friday, Myron. The Royston Dome, SCA back in the house. We talked about it a little bit. De Silva did tie it up at the last show. Can he keep the momentum rolling? Can he keep picking up some wins over Lev, or does Lev kind of like snatch that momentum back and go up on De Silva? Find out on Friday. Stevie Ray Frost, he will return after becoming the new Friday night champion a couple weeks ago. He was not at the Pat, so we'll see kind of this one, who's going to step up and challenge the Friday night champion. Don't know.
Put on great shows every Friday night. Young talent, well organized. Love them guys.
Absolutely. Again, check them out. They're on YouTube. They're on TV as well if you're up in the Northeast Georgia corridor of Georgia. So check them out and don't miss out. Saturday, Viral Pro Wrestling returns. They run about every couple months. They'll be there in Augusta, Georgia. Drew Hood is the Viral Pro Wrestling champion. He will defend his title versus Josh Magnum. Hunter James going to be in the house kind of discussing his Outbreak title reign. I don't know if you've seen over the last look. Looks like somebody's kind of showing up and backing him up, a little muscle, if you will, and one Pat Roach down there at Viral.
Well, that's a lot of muscle.
So, it's a lot of something. Nick Halen, he is the Dragon Con United States champion. He's going to bring that title down to Viral Pro, and he's going to defend that title against John Schuyler in what arguably, if you had to guess, I'm not going to throw out a number. I'm just curious to know how much years experience is in that match.
Oh, God. I have no idea. I wouldn't even begin to imagine how long both of those guys have been doing it.
If you want sleeper opportunity to be match of the night, there's your opportunity, guys, because it's a lot of experience in that match. The Superstars, the Monster Squad, and Carl Hager, Rich Wise, they're in a triple threat tag team match. They will crown the number one contender for the Viral Pro Tag Team Championships. Buff and Fluff, one of my favorite tag teams, have been, since the first time we saw them. They will take on Better Together, another team we're familiar match. I actually think I've seen this match before. I don't want to say I have, but I may have. And if it really, because I mean it stands out enough that I'm like, this match was super entertaining. But I don't want to say that I know that I did, because we've seen a lot of matches this year. I had an opportunity to run across Buff and Fluff in Winston-Salem. And dude, massive fan of both of the guys. One's one of the best wrestlers, out there. Sean
ID
Legacy, WWID talent. Cody Fluffman, as you said, again, love it. One of the most entertaining cats you're going to see. I had an opportunity to tell him cool. It was awesome to see him back, getting to work a little bit and see him again. So check those guys out. By the way, Santa Claus is going to be in the house, folks.
Nice.
Everybody loves a good Santa appearance. Stopping by there in Augusta, Georgia. Viral Pro Wrestling. Hands down, arguably, a lot of people put it out there, one of the best promotions in the state of Georgia. They have been crushing it over the last few shows. I mean,
huge attendance.
Hundreds.
Huge attendance by putting on great shows and bringing in new talent on a regular basis. Good job, guys.
Go online, follow them on social media, buy your tickets ahead of time. They do sell out. They have actually sold this building out. It's a big venue, but they've sold it out, and you get especially if you want the real good seats down on the floor up front, get them early, get them now. Viral Pro Wrestling, Augusta, Georgia. Also on Saturday, Wrestlemerica, they will be in Forsyth, Georgia. Their bell time is 7 p.m. One of the big matches on the card, Bryce Cannon. Bryce Cannon's a busy dude.
Yes.
Busy dude. He is the Liberty champion, and he will be in the house defending that title against Dominic Stuckey, who's he's got a long run there at Wrestlemerica.
Mm-hmm. Very popular at Wrestlemerica. Insanely popular at Wrestlemerica.
I'll ask you, dude. Can you pick him in this? This is a close match.
I know it'll be an entertaining match. I know it'll be a phenomenal match. I can't wait to see the clips posted, because this is one of the best matchups of two people put together in front of a house that will be totally one-sided. So, this will be phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. Paul Wolf and Caleb Scott, a Christmas paper match, Myron. A Christmas paper match.
Never heard of that before.
I hope that they're just beating the fire out of each other with rolls of Christmas paper. The tubes, I got to see it. I want to see it. Fry Daddy will take on Xavier Young. Luca Daniels is going to take on Von Miller, and Bobby Moore and Christian Taylor will go one. They'll get a tag team match versus Anthony Andrews and Jacob Johnson. Super excited. I can't hype this kid enough. It's good to see Christian Taylor out there hitting the roads, getting an opportunity to work with a lot of veterans and bettering himself show after show after show.
Exactly.
Didn't get Rookie of the Year. Could easily make a case for most improved for this young man as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, Scrappy Championship Wrestling. They're running at the Royston Dome there. I believe it's 4 o'clock is their bell time. I did not type so.
Early bell.
Yeah, Caleb Crocker, he will defend the middleweight championship in a triple threat versus Nick Halen and Teo. I don't know how Nick Halen's never a favorite going into any match, especially when championship's on the line. So if I'm a betting man, put your chips on Nick Halen. DJ Smoke will take on Seth DeLay for the lightweight title. DJ Smoke is your current champion.
That'll be fun.
Here's the one that kind of stood out to me. Kudos for Sal Renaro versus Hunter James for a shot at the middleweight championship.
Have we ever seen them in singles action? I know we've probably seen them in tag team action, but I don't know if I've ever seen them in singles action.
I want to say yes. I don't. So I don't think it was in person. I saw it on video. I think I saw it like at Coastal. I think is where I saw it.
Wow. Yeah, I really would like to get this. If I wasn't working on basically the other side of North Georgia till 6 o'clock, I would be at this show.
Yeah. Scrappy Championship Wrestling. It's a cool, especially on the alternative. Sundays are just really cool to me. I wish I could go to more, if any. But they're great alternatives to, especially on the weekends. If you can't make it to a Friday night or a Saturday night and Sunday night, or hell, make it a triple threat and just go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Check them out. Like I said, you can clearly see the talents when they're putting out names like Sal Renaro, Hunter James, Seth DeLay, Nick Halen, etc. on this card. Kudos to Scrappy Championship Wrestling up there at the Royston Dome. Get up there early. Get you a good seat. That's what I'm saying, man. Scrappy Championship
cool venue.
Wrestling.
Very cool venue.
Oh, very cool venue. Really loud, really cool. That's everything as far as the Making the Drive stuff that I have. I think what we're saying going forward with the Making the Drives, not today, when we get into January, I wanted to kind of start teasing it. We're going to list all of the shows, but I think we're going to highlight more of the shows that we're going to be able to make and go to, and then highlight things that stand out for the week. We probably won't go match by match by match. It'll be like, hey, what's driving you to go to this card? What's the selling point for a show? That's kind of what I think what the Making the Drives looks like going forward. So, look, we're going to talk about it on the shows, but of course over on Patreon, we're going to go, we're going to share that information over there with the format changes, etc. I know a lot of people are kind of like worried about it. I'm like, it's not that big a deal, folks. It's still going to be, Myron and I are going to be on some shows, obviously. But I think I really like this format. We've had, literally think about the guys who, and that have come on and been, the guest host on the Tapped In show.
Yes.
And now, of all things, like I'm super excited. Like, part of the reason we did this special is Angelica Risk and Hannah Hera. We talked about that. They're coming on this week. I didn't want, what I mean? Like, I want to be able to sit and talk to them, go over we got a bunch of questions in. I appreciate that again. Appreciate the questions coming in. Yeah. So, really just want to have a genuine conversation with, if I control the two of them, if I can keep them under control and have a, conversation with them and not go crazy on me. Not that Hera's crazy. I'm not saying that.
She's mean. She
has her moments. Yeah, she's a hyena.
She's a bad.
So again, we appreciate the people that subscribe. They're watching. They're listening. I've got some cool information. I got their Spotify put out, like they call it, they wrapped your year up, and I got some statistic stuff that was really, really cool to get. I'll have to share that with you a little bit off of the air. So we appreciate everybody who's listening, watching, subscribing, Patreon members, you name it. But we are just wrestling fans. Specifically, we're big indie fans, really into Georgia indie wrestling as well, obviously just because it's close to home. But we want you to kind of do the same to help support indie wrestling. Get in your car, go down to the building, buy the ticket, and maybe, Myron, we'll see you at the matches.